Your helper is a narcissist trap. You know that helper who swears they're on your side, yet you feel guilty every time you say no? That's not support. That's a control loop wearing kindness as a mask. Some helpers run a narcissistic script that erodes your autonomy while claiming they're protecting you. Today you'll learn 4 clear signs to spot it, the addiction mechanism model that explains why it hooks smart people, and a practical extraction kit you can use this week. We'll cover spiritual, professional, and personal arenas, open the secret step that breaks dependence without drama, and start by defining the helper role so you can spot the mask fast. The role, not the title. How the helper mask works. Let's start with the role, not the title. Coach, mentor, boss, healer, sibling. Different labels, same mechanism. The mask works because it borrows trust. We're wired to relax around people positioned as guides. That softens your skepticism before you've tested their behavior. The bait is care, clarity, and certainty. The quiet payoff they want is obedience, access, and ongoing oversight. Here's the thing most people miss. The shift from help to control is invisible at first. Authentic help increases your agency. You get clearer, more capable, less dependent. The helper mask flips that. You feel grateful, but also slightly smaller. Decisions start routing through them. That's the first microsignal. Your internal, I've got this, gets replaced with I should check. Underneath is identity debt, the unspoken, you owe me compliance. Real reciprocity is clean. I help you decide. Identity debt is sticky. After everything I've done, don't drift. It trades on your integrity. You want to be fair, so you keep looping them in, until looping becomes a rule. You'll see the same logic in 3 arenas. In spiritual settings, the line is, don't break the container. Translation, keep me in your process, or you'll lose the magic. In professional life, it's loop me in. Reasonable at first, but soon your routine judgments need daily approval. In personal relationships, it's I'm just helping. Then somehow your calendar, finances, or choices live under their review. Why does this matter? Because erosion of self-trust doesn't announce itself. It's a slow leak. When you outsource small decisions, your brain saves energy. That feels good in the moment, and it's how learned helplessness creeps in. Over time, you doubt your lens, you delay your voice, and you start asking permission to be yourself. The stakes are high. When you internalize someone else's map as your compass, you stop building the muscles you need under stress. Discernment, boundary setting, and recovery after a mistake. You don't just lose time, you lose calibration. And that's the point where a manipulative helper can shape your reality. How do you spot the mask early? Listen for a blend of certainty plus subtle dependency hooks. Genuine mentors structure their exit from day one. They teach you to replace them with your own systems. Masked helpers justify their continued presence with special language. Your progress is fragile. Your insight is untrustworthy. The path is delicate without their oversight. Also notice incentives. If your independence reduces their power, money, or identity status, the pressure to keep you close will be disguised as care. You'll hear urgency, exclusivity, and purity tests. Only share inside the container. We don't dilute the work. Stay close while you stabilize. None of that is inherently wrong. But if it always points to more access, more time, and more control, that's not mentorship. That's management you didn't consent to. A quick mental model. Healthy help equals ramp out. Unhealthy help equals ramp in. Do you get fewer check-ins, fewer approvals, and bigger decisions you make solo as you grow? Or do the requirements expand as you progress? Once the mask lands, a control engine starts running in the background. Your wins become fragile. Your doubts get pathologized. Your gratitude turns into a ledger. And your nervous system gets hooked on high-low cycles of approval. Push back on dependence, and the next move appears. That's where we go next. Sign 1, the manufacturing of permanent dependence. Sign 1, manufacturing permanent dependence, the control mechanism. Here's where the engine starts. Your progress is suddenly fragile, and the only safe place to put it is under their ongoing oversight. The story goes, without them you'll regress. You're not broken, you're early. And early needs supervision. Notice the move. Your growth is recoded as conditional. The price of safety is proximity. The tactics are subtle. First, moving goalposts. Each milestone unlocks a new prerequisite. You finally practice the skill they assigned, and they say, great first pass, now we refine. Refinement never converges. Standards shift just enough that next time becomes a permanent state. You never arrive, you just re-enroll. Second, diagnostic creep. They expand the scope of what's in their lane. It starts with coaching your workflow and creeps into your relationship choices, your belief system, your calendar. Their expertise magically extends to every domain where you have uncertainty. And who doesn't have uncertainty? That's the fishing ground. Third, crisis inflation. Ordinary friction gets reframed as critical risk. A missed email becomes a pattern. A wobbly week becomes a relapse narrative. When everything is high stakes, you lean into the person promising steady hands. The cost is independence. Listen to the language. You're not ready yet. Don't trust your lens. Keep close or you'll slip. In spiritual spaces, it's integration is delicate. In professional life, it's daily approvals. Loop me in on every draft. At home, it's let me handle it. The pattern is the same. Your direct contact with reality gets routed through them. The thing most people miss is how you accidentally validate this. You start asking permission to be autonomous. That's the signal they're looking for. The moment you say, "Is it okay if I?" the dependent script tightens. Now they can enact benevolent veto power. You've granted them jurisdiction. So how do you test the reality without a blow-up? Quietly reduce frequency. Don't announce it, observe it. If you usually check in twice a week, make it once. If you typically send drafts for approval, send a finished version with a clear rationale. Then watch. Do they respect your autonomy? Or do they reframe your independent win as luck, risk, or almost there, but? A quick win you can try this week is the reverse consult. Draft your plan first, clear steps, risks, and your mitigation. Bring it as a done proposal, not a fishing expedition. Healthy helpers will add 2% and applaud your ownership. Masked helpers will erase your plan and replace it with the right way, which always routes back through them. Let me show you exactly how this plays out in each arena, so you can recognize the pattern quickly. In spiritual contexts, dependence hides behind purity. Don't break the container. Stay close while this stabilizes. Outside input dilutes the work. Sometimes that's about safety. But if months pass and stability still requires their constant oversight, the container is a leash. Ask, what's the taper plan? If there isn't one, that's the tell. In professional environments, it starts as quality control. Reasonable. Then daily approvals become the norm, even for routine calls you can make. You're told your judgment is good when you're guided. Your confidence shrinks. Try a micro-trial. Make one low-risk decision solo, document the criteria, and deliver the outcome. A good manager will be relieved. A control-based helper will focus on the breach of process, not the result. In personal life, dependence likes to dress up as support. They take tasks off your plate. Feels helpful, until your life runs on their timing and standards. If you pull back, they warn you you'll drop the ball. Test it, reclaim one category, budget, scheduling, or chores, and set your own process. A supportive partner adjusts. A control partner resists, then offers, "Let me just do it," as a rescue that reestablishes control. Before we continue, you need to understand the hidden reinforcement schedule. They pair their warnings with intermittent approval. When you comply, you get warmth, insight, and relief. When you drift, you get coolness or concern. The inconsistency trains you to chase the good session or the good week. Your brain codes them as the source of safety. That's the hook. The reason this works is uncertainty intolerance plus decision fatigue. Offloading decisions relieves strain today, which rewards the very behavior that keeps you dependent tomorrow. It's not because you're weak, it's because your nervous system is efficient. It follows the shortest path to relief. They design the path to pass through them. Common mistakes to avoid: over-explaining your pullback and asking for validation of your boundary. Don't narrate, test. Every sentence you add becomes material they can reframe as risk. Keep it boring and behavioral. I'm reducing check-ins to weekly. Full stop. Now you try. Pick one domain and run a 7-day experiment. Reduce contact by 30%. Make one decision solo and document the result. Keep a tiny ledger. Date, your action, their response, any consequences. If wins get reframed as dangerous, you have data, not drama. If you remember nothing else from this section, remember this. Healthy help tapers. Unhealthy help expands. As soon as you push back on dependence, the next tactic appears. They won't argue the facts. They'll argue your perception. That's the pivot into sign 2, gaslighting your intuition. Sign 2, gaslighting your intuition, the reality shift. Now here's where most people mess up. They try to prove their perception is valid to someone invested in disproving it. In the dependence phase, you pushed back on oversight. Next, they shift reality itself. Your intuition becomes the problem. Doubt is rebranded as ego, resistance, or old patterns. Boundaries get translated into pathology. The more you explain, the more raw material they get to recode your experience. The term gaslighting comes from the 1944 film Gaslight, where a husband manipulates reality to make his wife doubt her sanity. A cultural template later used to name this exact manipulation tactic. Why this matters? Your intuition is the early warning system for safety and alignment. When you outsource it, you can't calibrate. That leaves you open to the next rule change. Healthy help strengthens your ability to trust your lens. Gaslighting degrades it, then offers certainty as a substitute. The psychological cost is you stop testing reality and start testing yourself for purity. What does this look like in practice? Tactically, they weaponize language. They'll claim access to a private truth. If you were integrated, you'd see it my way. They'll pathologize your no. That's your wound talking. They'll frame disagreement as spiritual immaturity. Your vibration isn't aligned with this level yet. The move is the same in professional or personal life, just with different jargon. You're being defensive. You're not a team player. You're avoiding intimacy. Once you nail that, everything else clicks. You'll hear the same pattern across arenas. Say you decline a retreat because money's tight or you want rest. The response: avoidance is blocking your breakthrough. Push back on scope at work. Fear-based thinking is shrinking the vision. Ask for space in a relationship. You're sabotaging us because you can't handle closeness. Notice how your concrete reasons vanish under a story that only resolves if you obey. The game changer nobody talks about is the timing. They deploy this right after you show initiative. You bring a plan. They label the independence as dysregulation. You ask for criteria. They accuse you of control. By making your clarity suspect, they get to remain the authority on what's true and what's healthy. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Stop feeding the reframe. Over-explaining is the trap. Every justification becomes another thread they can pull. Keep your boundary language short and content-free. A 3-word boundary, not for me, isn't defiant, it's closed loop. No alibi to attack, no story to rewrite. If they're operating in good faith, they'll accept it. If not, they'll escalate to prove you wrong, which gives you clean data. Let me show you exactly how to test this without getting pulled into a debate. Use dual-track journaling for 2 weeks. Track 3 columns: your felt sense, tightness in chest, clarity, relief, observable facts, dates, asks, outcomes, and their framing in quotes. You're not trying to win an argument. You're building a parallel record that refuses to collapse subjective experience into their narrative. When the reframe hits, you're avoiding. Check it against facts. Did you deliver? Did the result meet the criteria? If facts are solid and your body feels steadier after the boundary, that's alignment, not avoidance. Actually, let me back up and make this concrete. In spiritual contexts, they'll use purity language. Stay in the container, outside input dilutes the frequency. Translated into neutral, testable terms, they prefer exclusive influence and discourage second opinions. In work, loop me in on every decision for cohesion becomes they require approvals beyond scope. In relationships, if you loved me, you'd share everything becomes they expect full access and interpret privacy as threat. Once you rewrite the jargon, you can test behaviors, not metaphysics. Common mistakes to avoid: apologizing for needing proof, debating definitions, or seeking permission to hold a boundary. Don't announce your journaling. Don't ask them to validate your felt sense. Verification happens in your notebook, with your outcomes, or with a neutral outside mirror. Keep the cycle boring. Decide, act, record. Here's a quick win you can get today. Use a 24-hour delay as a pattern interrupt. When they press for an immediate yes, say, "I'll get back to you tomorrow." No reason, no story. You'll feel the pull to explain. Don't. The delay does 2 things. It calms urgency in your nervous system, and it surfaces their control strategy. Healthy allies respect the pause. Controlling helpers spike pressure or shame inside that window. Log it. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Boundaries don't need theology. Not for me is complete. When your perception stops being up for debate, the spell breaks. And if gaslighting doesn't land, they'll reach for the moral ledger next, gratitude twisted into obligation. That's sign 3. Spiritual bypassing inside sign 2, the language tool of control. Before we move on, We need to name the weapon that powers a lot of this reality shift: spiritual. Bypassing. Psychologist John Wellwood popularized the term to describe using spiritual ideas to avoid processing real emotions. A move controllers favor because it sounds lofty while shutting down honest signals. In practice, bypassing takes real feelings, fear, anger, grief, doubt, and hides them under spiritualized language so the discomfort never gets processed. It sounds elevated, but the function is simple: invalidate your signal and swap in obedience. Why this matters: feelings are data. When you deny them, you lose access to boundary information, and you get stuck chasing purity instead of solving problems. The result is you keep handing the steering wheel back to the person supplying the higher frame. Here's what the tool looks like up close. The vocabulary is familiar: ego, vibration, alignment, high self, frequency, surrender, non-attachment. None of these are bad by themselves. The misuse comes when they're deployed to end a conversation, not deepen it. You ask for criteria, they say, you're an ego. You set a limit, they say, your frequency is contracting. You decline an event, they say, you're resisting alignment. The message: your boundary equals spiritual failure. Let me show you the difference between healthy use and weaponized use. Healthy integration invites agency. It offers testable practices. Try this for 7 days. Track your sleep, mood, and outcomes. Adjust based on results. It expects you to verify. Weaponized language demands obedience. Trust the transmission. Your doubt proves you're not ready. One expands your capacity. The other collapses it into compliance. The thing most people miss is exclusivity claims. I have access your mind can't see. Only inside this container can you process properly. Outside input will confuse your field. These aren't just ideas, they're control levers. They isolate you from alternative mirrors and convert your uncertainty into a subscription. Red flags to listen for: purity tests. If you were truly committed, you'd say yes. Obedience as proof of growth. Your surrender shows you've transcended ego. Shame-wrapped concern. I'm worried your wound is steering, stay close. Criteria drift. The energy changed, we need to rework everything, without specifics. Now, how do you stay grounded when the words feel holy? Translate everything into neutral, observable language. Mini exercise. Take a bypassing phrase and rewrite it. Your ego is sabotaging becomes, you disagreed with my plan. Your vibration is low becomes, you seem tired and hesitant on the call. This needs container integrity becomes, I prefer you not get second opinions. The moment you can test the sentence, you can verify or challenge the claim. Let me show you exactly how to apply this in the moment. When a spiritualized critique lands, don't debate the metaphysics. Ask for the operational definition and the measurement. When you say ego, what concrete behavior should change, and how will we know it did? If the answer is precise, for the next 2 weeks, send the agenda 24 hours early. Success is 0 same-day edits. That's grounded. If the answer is foggy, you'll feel more surrendered. That's non-falsifiable and ripe for control. Common mistakes to avoid: explaining your spiritual sincerity, confessing old wounds as proof you're doing the work, or seeking a blessing for your no. That's fuel for the frame. Keep your boundary content free, and your tests behavioral. Not for me. I'll decide next week. I'm adding a second perspective. Then log what happens. A quick win you can do today. Write a personal glossary. 3 columns: term, neutral translation test. For example, alignment: is the plan feasible with my time and money? Test: build a schedule and budget. Surrender: stop micromanaging outcomes. Test: set 3 input goals, not outcome goals, and review in 7 days. When your language is grounded, the spell loses grip. If you remember nothing else, remember this: real growth tolerates questions. If a concept can't survive a definition, a metric, and a second opinion, it's not spiritual, it's control. Sign 3. Weaponizing the good, the shame lever. When gaslighting your intuition stops working, they pull out the ledger. This one hits people with integrity the hardest because it twists something real, your gratitude, into an IOU. The move sounds like care, but the subtext is compliance. You'll hear it the moment you hold a boundary. Suddenly, every past good deed becomes a receipt. Why this matters: shame short-circuits autonomy. Gratitude is clean when it's about the past. Obligation is sticky when it hijacks the present. If you can't say no without betraying the good, you'll trade your agency to stay morally safe. That's the lever. Be good equals be obedient. Let me show you the tactics up close. Debt accounting is the classic. They'll list favors, time, belief, and special access. I answered your late-night calls. I mentored you for free. I brought you into rooms. Public praise/private I owe you is next. In front of others, they spotlight your growth. I'm so proud of you. In private, they frame your no as disloyalty. After all I've done. And then there are special access reminders. I took a chance when no one else did, which implies you owe repayment in the currency they choose. Language tells give the game away. I believed in you when no one did. I vouched for you. I protected you. None of these are bad by themselves. The tell is timing. These lines show up at your boundary, not at your birthday. And the request isn't a mutual exchange. It's compliance with their plan, their timeline, or their exclusive oversight. Across arenas, the surface changes, but the logic doesn't. In spiritual spaces, I took a chance bringing you into advanced work. Translation: say yes to more offerings or keep them in all decisions. In professional settings, I've invested hours mentoring you. Translation: accept scope creep, extra approvals, or unpaid extras. In personal life, I've done so much for you. Translation: hand over budget, schedule, access, or emotional labor on demand. Now here's where most people mess up. They try to repay the past with present compliance. That feels fair in the moment and becomes the blueprint. Every no gets converted into a moral test you can only pass by saying yes. Or they shrink their autonomy so they don't hurt the helper. Both moves feed the lever. The fix is a clean separation. Acknowledge the past, decide the present. It sounds like this. Thank you for what you gave me, that mattered. For this decision, I'm choosing X. Note the structure: gratitude period, boundary period. No justifying, no bargaining. You honor the good without forfeiting choice. Let me show you exactly how to test whether the relationship is healthy. Use the thank you plus no probe. Pick a low-stakes request and respond with, I appreciate your support. I'm not doing that. Then watch for 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days. Healthy helpers say, got it. Maybe they're disappointed, but they don't moralize. Masked helpers escalate. Guilt, urgency, character digs, or a cold shoulder wrapped as concern. Log it. It's data. There's a second test that reveals the ledger fast. Offer a different repayment channel that preserves autonomy. I can't do more sessions. I'm happy to leave a testimonial. I can't add approvals. I'll document my process. I can't host your family this weekend. I'll send a meal. Healthy relationships negotiate. Control relationships reject any currency except obedience, because obedience is the point. Common mistakes to avoid: apologizing for a boundary, debating whether you're grateful enough, or submitting proof of loyalty to calm their feelings. Don't perform gratitude to buy permission. Also avoid the opposite extreme: scorched earth. You don't need to defend your character or counter-shame. Keep it boring and specific. Here's the quick win. Pre-write 3 one-sentence scripts so you're not improvising under pressure. Thank you for everything you did. I'm not available for that. I appreciate your belief in me. I'm choosing a different approach. That support meant a lot. I'm keeping this decision with me. Use them verbatim. Don't decorate them. Decoration invites debate. Actually, let me back up and add one nuance that saves a lot of people. Check the exchange rate. Are you being asked to repay a past benefit at above market rates? A 1-hour favor shouldn't cost you ongoing access. A recommendation shouldn't cost you decision rights. Translate their ask into time, money, and control. If the price is ongoing control, it's not repayment, it's possession. And once you start separating gratitude from compliance, expect the high-low loop to kick in. You'll get a warm flood. You're special to me. Followed by a cold dip when you hold your line. That's the intermittent schedule, training your nervous system to chase good standing. We'll map that cycle next. For now, anchor this. Gratitude is a memory, consent is current. You can honor both without merging them. Sign 4, love bombing and devaluation, the high-low loop. This next part separates beginners from pros, because it feels like love, but functions like leverage. Once the ledger doesn't move you, they flip to the high-low loop. Love bombing when you comply, devaluation when you set limits. It's intermittent reinforcement in human form. Your brain starts chasing the warm phases as proof you're safe, even when the cold phases keep getting longer. Classic behavior research by B.F. Skinner in the 1950s showed that variable ratio reward schedules, unpredictable payoffs, are the most conditioning of all. which is why these highs and lows wire in so fast. Here's the core dynamic. Compliance earns warmth, boundaries trigger cold. In practice, that looks like a pedestal moment, lavish praise, intimate access, grand affirmations, followed by a quick chill if you delay, question, or say no. Then breadcrumbs, a sweet message, a nostalgic callback, a minor favor to reignite hope. The uncertainty hooks you more than a stable bond ever could. Why this matters? Variable rewards train persistence. Slot machines pay out just enough to keep you pulling the lever. These relationships do the same, just enough warmth to keep you investing. Over time, you'll work harder for smaller doses of approval, and you'll call it loyalty. The cost is your calibration. You start interpreting temporary warmth as permanent safety, which it isn't. Let me show you how it speaks. On the high, you're extraordinary. I've never met anyone like you. You're core to this work. On the low, you've disappointed me. I thought you were further along. Your energy is off. The swing isn't feedback, it's conditioning. The content shifts, but the contingency stays the same. Do what I want, feel the sun. Hold your line, feel the winter. Across arenas, the veneer changes, but the levers are identical. In spiritual settings, you'll get a dramatic re-entry after distance. I had a download about you, come back for one final session. If you hesitate, the tone drops. Your field is unstable. I can't keep you in advanced work. Then a breadcrumb, meditated for you today, felt your light. It's a push-pull cycle designed to keep you orbiting. In professional life, it's spotlight then sidelining. You're showcased in a town hall, tagged as a rising star. You ask for clearer scope, and suddenly you're not aligned with leadership direction. A week later, you're thrown a small win to keep you on the hook. The warmth returns when you over-index on approvals. The moment you operate independently, you're iced out of loops. In personal relationships, it's the nostalgia ping after a ghosting. Days of silence, then a song you both love, an old photo, a remember when. The high is real. So is the pattern. Warmth tracks obedience, not care. If you say, I need time, watch the temperature drop or the urgency spike. If you loved me, you'd reply. Now here's where most people mess up. Chasing the high as proof the low wasn't real. You treat the warmth as the baseline and the cold as an anomaly. In this loop, it's the opposite. The swing is the design. The high is the bait. If you're tracking, the question isn't, was the love real? It's, is the love stable at my boundary? That tells you everything. Let me show you exactly how to test it. Build a behavior log that maps praise and punish against your yes/no. 3 columns, your decision, yes/no, boundary/compliance. Their response, warm/cold/urgent. And timing, immediate, delayed breadcrumb. Do this for 2 weeks. Patterns surface fast. If warmth clusters after yes and cold clusters after no, you're not in a relationship. You're in a training program. A quick win that breaks timing control is a 24-hour delay on responses. We used it earlier for gaslighting. Here it interrupts the reinforcement schedule. Delay your reply to both highs and lows. Don't ghost, just don't feed immediacy. You'll feel the compulsion spike, breathe through it. Healthy people tolerate the pause. Controllers escalate with urgency, shame, or bigger highs. Log it. Common mistakes to avoid: rewarding the breadcrumb with full access, apologizing during the cold to get back in good standing, or escalating your performance, overwork, overshare, overgive, to earn the sun again. That's how variable schedules dig in. Instead, hold steady output and steady access, regardless of their mood. Predictability on your side neutralizes unpredictability on theirs. Actually, let me back up and offer a mental model that sticks. Steady you, variable them. If they're steady when you're steady, you have a relationship. If they're variable when you're steady, you have conditioning. The fix is to make your boundaries invariant. Same response to highs and lows. Appreciate the kind words, still moving forward with X. Heard your concern, decision remains Y. Here's a second test that exposes the loop quickly. Change the currency. When they love bomb, don't convert it to access. Receive it, then keep your boundary. When they devalue, don't convert it to performance. Acknowledge it, then maintain your scope. If the high was genuine care, it'll survive your autonomy. If the low was feedback, it'll come with specifics and stabilize after you address them. If neither stabilizes, you've confirmed the control loop. One more microstory to anchor this. Last month, a client kept getting whiplash from a mentor. Weekly, you're brilliant followed by, you're slipping. We mapped the log. Warmth arrived within 12 hours of every extra session booked. Cold arrived within 24 hours of every boundary. Once she introduced a 24-hour delay and a standard script. Thanks for the feedback. Plan unchanged. The highs got less grand, the lows got shorter, and the ask escalated to urgency. Data beat the spell. She exited clean 2 weeks later. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Stable love tolerates your no. Intermittent love demands your yes. When your nervous system stops mistaking intensity for safety, this loop loses power. And once you see the pattern, the next step is simple. Zoom out, map the full cycle, and verify with tests, not arguments. The addiction mechanism. How the trap hijacks your attachment and uncertainty. Now we zoom out. Those 4 signs aren't random red flags. They're a closed loop that runs like an addiction system. Idealize, enmesh, destabilize, harvest. Each phase plugs into normal human needs. Attachment, certainty, and relief from decision fatigue. When those needs get exploited together, you get variable ratio dependence. The same schedule that makes slot machines sticky. Let's map the cycle and give you tests at each phase so you can verify, not argue. Phase 1 is idealize. This is the finally, someone gets me moment. If you're someone who hates uncertainty, absolutist answers feel like oxygen. They'll mirror your values, echo your language, and offer clean frameworks that make chaos feel solvable. You're not foolish for liking that. Certainty is soothing. But here's the catch. If the certainty isn't grounded in scope, timelines, and verifiable steps, it becomes a trust harvesting tool. Why this matters? Your brain relaxes around clear rules, especially if you've been carrying a lot alone. That relaxation is the on-ramp to dependence if you don't install guardrails. The move that protects you is to test certainty early. Ask for written scopes and timelines. What are the boundaries of your help? What's the taper plan? What's a realistic timeline for me to graduate? If the answers are grounded, clear milestones, ownership transfer, exit criteria, you're in good hands. If you get grand promises, mystical language, or trust the process with no measurables, that's the idealization phase, setting up the next step. Here's the first test you can run in this phase. Request a scope doc with 3 elements. What's in, what's out, and when you'll no longer need them. Healthy helpers will be specific. First month, co-design your system. Second month, you run it with weekly check-ins. Third month, you run it solo, we do 1 retrospective. Masked helpers will inflate claims, blur edges, and keep the exit conditional on their approval. Log the response. You're not fishing for a fight, you're checking for structure. Phase 2 is enmesh. Once the glow is in place, the language shifts to we. We're doing this together. We're a container. Your identity starts to fuse with the relationship and the method. Decision fatigue starts here because outsourcing feels efficient. You get fewer choices to make, so your stress drops. But that relief masks a shrinking perimeter of autonomy. They'll isolate your inputs. Don't confuse yourself with too many voices, and increase access to your internal life. The reason this works is that attachment needs and efficiency play nice together. If you lean anxious, closeness feels like safety. If you lean avoidant, outsourcing your choices lets you dodge exposure while pretending it's just best practice. Either way, you stop running your own experiments. You borrow their lens because it's faster. That's enmeshment's sweet spot. Your counter is to keep a second mirror alive. Add 1 independent advisor or information source, quietly. In spiritual contexts, that might be a different modality or a peer group with no financial tie. At work, it's a mentor outside your reporting line. In personal life, it's a trusted friend who isn't socially entangled. Then watch what happens when you mention or act on that second opinion. Jealousy, purity tests, or container integrity, policing reveal that enmeshment is the goal, not growth. Here's the test. I'm getting a second perspective to stress test my plan. Healthy helpers say, great, compare notes. Control-based helpers say, outside input dilutes the work, or they frame your curiosity as betrayal. If the method can't survive a second opinion, it's not a method, it's a moat. Phase 3 is destabilize. This is where the gaslighting and shame you saw in signs 2 and 3 do their heavy lifting. The tactic stack, moving goalposts, purity language, moral ledgers, ramps up your uncertainty just as your decision muscle is at its weakest from offloading choices. You're tired. Rules feel easier than reflection. So you choose rules. You stay close. You hand over more oversight because every boundary, seems to create drama you don't have energy to handle. The thing most people miss is that destabilization isn't a single event. It's dynamic. Criteria change post hoc, just enough to keep you chasing compliance. You deliver what was asked, new energy shifts require rework. You clarify scope at work. Alignment needs another review. You set a relationship boundary. Your care is questioned. The goal isn't improvement, it's exhaustion. Tired people pick the shortest path to relief, which runs through the controller's demands. Your test here is procedural. Pause approvals for 1 to 2 cycles and freeze the criteria in writing. Here's my understanding of the standards we agreed to. I'll deliver to this spec on this date. Let's review against these points. Then deliver. After, ask for evaluation against the preset criteria only. If the target moves, you've verified destabilization. If the assessment sticks to agreed standards, you're back in reality. A second test is to change tempo. Introduce planned delays and see if urgency normalizes or escalates. I'll respond tomorrow. We'll revisit next sprint. Healthy partners recalibrate to your pace. Controllers try to yank you back into their timeline with shame or emergency language. That's data, not a negotiation. Phase 4 is harvest. At this point, the system extracts time, money, status, or emotional labor in excess of the value returned. You've sunk costs, months of effort, money, access, and intermittent rewards keep you investing. The harvest looks noble on the surface. Just one more round. It's for the mission, loyalty. But the currency is your ongoing dependence. The reward for giving more is a temporary high, not sustainable autonomy. Attachment locks in here. Anxious styles seek approval to calm distance. Avoidant styles overfunction to avoid deeper vulnerability. Both end up paying the toll. The schedule is variable. Sometimes you get a big hit of praise, sometimes a cold dip that sends you chasing again. Your body mistakes the intensity for depth. That's the addiction mechanism at work. To test the harvest phase, set a hard cap. Time cap. I'm limiting sessions to X for the next month. Money cap. My budget is Y, beyond that I pause. Scope cap. I'm not adding approvals outside A, B, C. Then watch the response. Respect is a green flag. Escalated urgency, guilt, or character digs are red. Harvesters can't tolerate caps because caps end extraction. If they pivot to scarcity, this is your only window. You've verified the toll booth. Now let's tie the phases together with why this loop works on smart, capable people. First, attachment needs aren't optional. We all regulate through connection. If your early wiring leaned on approval for safety or independence as protection, these systems target that perfectly. Second, uncertainty and tolerance is rational when stakes feel high. You don't want to screw up your career, your healing, or your relationship. Clean answers feel like care. Third, decision fatigue is real. Brains optimize for energy. Offloading is efficient in the short term, and the short term keeps winning when you're tired. Put them together and you have this. A person who mirrors your values, attachment, offers crisp answers, certainty, and reduces your cognitive load, relief. That combo feels like home. The trap isn't that you're naive, it's that the design matches your needs too well. Without tests, your nervous system will choose relief over freedom. With tests, you can keep the value and ditch the control. Let me show you a simple checkpoint that saves months. If you see 3 phases recurring, idealize, enmesh, destabilize, assume harvest is either happening or imminent. You don't need to catch every tactic. You need to spot the loop. Ask yourself 4 questions. Are promises getting bigger while details get smaller? Is we language rising while your independent actions drop? Are criteria changing after the fact to keep you chasing? Do caps trigger urgency or shame rather than planning? If you get mostly yes, you're in the trap. That's not a moral failure. It's a system doing what systems do. Your move isn't to argue with motives. It's to verify with behavior and act. Before we leave this map, 2 more practical tools. First, the certainty stress test. When someone offers a sweeping claim, this will change everything. Translate it into a falsifiable version. Change what, by how much, by when, and how will we measure? If the claim can't be expressed in observable terms, you're dealing with faith, not strategy. Faith isn't bad, it's just not a substitute for consent. Second, the attachment reframe. Instead of trying to be independent overnight, build interdependence with multiple nodes. A healthy network dissolves single-point failure. 2 mentors, 3 peers, a therapist if this touches trauma, and your own written plan. When the center of gravity moves from one person to a system you own, the variable ratio schedule loses leverage. You don't need to burn bridges, you need to build more of them. A quick microstory to bring this home. A founder I worked with got swept into a visionary coach's orbit. Big promises, tight container, constant we. Within 2 months, she was routing every product decision through the coach. We ran the phase tests. Scope doc, vague. Second opinion, dilution. Criteria, drifted weakly. Cap, triggered urgency. She didn't confront. She installed caps, added a second advisor, and froze criteria in writing. The highs shrank, the lows lost bite, and the value of the coaching dropped below the cost. Exiting became obvious, not dramatic. If you remember nothing else from this section, remember this. The trap isn't about intelligence, it's about nervous systems seeking relief. Attachment plus certainty plus decision relief is a potent blend. Your defense is structure, scopes, second mirrors, frozen criteria, caps, and slow, boring tests. When you replace arguments with experiments, you stop feeding the schedule and start recovering your agency. Now that you've got the mechanism, the next move is straightforward. Reality test the relationship without announcing a war. Verify with behavior, collect data, and then act. That's where we're headed, action protocols, starting with quiet verification that cuts through story and keeps you safe. Action protocols part 1, reality testing. Your next move is simple, verify, don't argue. You're done debating motives, theology, and character. You're going to observe behavior. Think like a scientist, small tests, clear logs, no speeches. The goal is to see the relationship as it operates when you stop feeding it with explanations. Start with the core principle, behavior beats intent. Write that at the top of your notes. You're not punishing anyone, you're measuring. When someone says, I care, the test is whether they respect your boundary without moralizing. When they say, this is for your growth, the test is whether standards are defined and stable. Your lens becomes boring. What happened, when, and what changed after. Bring in an outside mirror. 2 neutral advisors who aren't tied to the person or group. Share only facts and your written plan. No venting, no character labels. You'll say, here's what was asked, here's what I delivered, here's the response, here's my boundary. Why 2? Redundancy. 1 might share your bias. 2 forces you to triangulate. Their role isn't to rescue you, it's to reflect your data back without the control frame. Next, draft a private hypothesis. 1 page, date stamped. Write your goals, 3 solo decisions you'll take, and risk controls you'll use. Be concrete. Goal, reduce approvals to weekly. Solo decisions, schedule, budget allocation under $500, content outline. Risk controls, predefine criteria, document rationale, 24-hour delay on escalations. If you're wrong, you'll see it in outcomes. If you're right, you'll see it in reactions. Either way, your agency is in motion. Now run micro-trials. Pick 1 lever at a time so you can attribute cause and effect. Reduce frequency by 30%. If you meet twice a week, meet once. Don't announce. Deliver to spec. Log the response. Respect equals recalibration. Control equals pressure, shame, or moving targets. Use not for me once. No justification. Note immediate reactions, minutes. Short-term, hours, and delayed days. Healthy systems cool off. Control systems escalate or reopen the case with new angles. Delay responses by 24 hours for all non-emergencies. This interrupts urgency as a control tactic and gives you nervous system space. Track whether the issue truly expires, mutates into an emergency, or gets weaponized later. Build a data ledger. Split a page into 2 columns, facts versus feelings. Under facts, record dates, asks, deliverables, criteria, results, and exact quotes. Under feelings, jot your body signals, tight chest, relief, dread, and a 1-word label, steady, foggy, hijacked. You're not judging your feelings, you're mapping correlations. If your body calms when you hold a boundary and outcomes remain solid, that's alignment. If your body spikes only around their urgency, that's conditioning. Translate their jargon into testable statements. We touched on this earlier. Do it systematically. Energy shifted becomes requested scope change after approval. Ego becomes you disagreed with my plan. Container integrity becomes they prefer exclusive influence. Once translated, you can ask, what exactly needs to change, by when, and how will we measure it? If the answer stays foggy, hold your line and note the reaction. Set up an outside mirror protocol. For the next 2 weeks, after any significant interaction, send a 2-paragraph summary to your neutral advisor. The request, your delivery, the response, your next decision. Ask a single question. Does my plan match the stated criteria? You're checking for drift, not permission. If the advisor consistently flags moving targets, you've verified destabilization without entering a fight. Run a silent week if it's safe. No seeking guidance, no check-ins you don't legally owe. Keep delivering to agreed standards. Log outcomes and stress. Watch what breaks. Often, nothing breaks except the control narrative. If something does wobble, adjust your risk controls, not your autonomy. Clearer specs, earlier drafts, or a standing weekly review you own. Common mistakes to avoid. Announcing your tests invites theater. Debating feelings invites reframing. And stacking too many changes at once muddies data. Keep it incremental. 1 lever, 1 week, 1 log. Here's a quick win you can apply today. Write a standard reply you can paste without thinking. I've noted the request. I'll review and respond tomorrow. Use it to replace reactive replies. Then, when tomorrow comes, reply with facts and your decision. Delivering X by Y, per criteria A, B, C. No apologies, no defense. You're training yourself to operate on structure, not pressure. Finally, create a checkpoint ritual every 3 days. Read your ledger out loud. Ask 3 questions. Did I reduce dependence? Did criteria stay stable? Did my body feel steadier after boundaries? If 2 of 3 are yes, keep the protocol. If not, tweak 1 lever. You're building a feedback loop that protects your autonomy without a single argument. Action Protocols Part 2, Extraction and Boundaries Kit. If your ledger confirms the trap, the goal is a clean exit with minimal drama. Think short, boring, future-focused. You're not prosecuting the past. You're adjusting commitments. Keep it on paper, keep it procedural, and keep your nervous system out of overtime. Start with the boundary ladder. 3 rungs you'll climb only as needed. First, reduce frequency. Move from twice weekly to weekly, weekly to bi-weekly. You'll say, I'm consolidating to a weekly check-in. No backstory. Second, reduce scope. Narrow what you discuss and what you approve. Going forward, I'll handle A and B solo, we'll review C only. Third, end engagement. I'm concluding this arrangement on date. Each rung is its own email. No stacking, no warnings about if this continues. You're not training, you're exiting. Shift logistics to written channels. Confirm deliverables, end dates, and what remains. If there's a contract, quote the clauses you're invoking. Notice periods, termination options, final invoice rules. Cancel auto-renewals now, subscriptions, retainers, recurring sessions. Replace verbal agreements with documented checklists. What's owed, where it lives, when it's handed off. If files, passwords, or accounts are shared, change credentials and remove shared access the same day you give notice. Boring beats dramatic. Use grey rock for tone. Neutral, brief, and repetitive if pressed. Noted. See previous email. Per our scope, you're a help desk, not a sparring partner. For any key call that can't be avoided, handoffs, HR-required meetings, bring a third-party witness or record per local policy. Follow with a written summary sent the same day. Here's what we agreed by when. You're building a paper fence. Expect retaliation attempts. Smear, guilt, urgency, triangulation. When you see it, slow down and redirect to written. Smear looks like character stories told to mutuals. Don't countershame. Send a single neutral line if needed. I've ended the engagement and wish them well. Any questions about my decision can be directed to me in writing. Guilt sounds like, after all I've done. Reply with the script from earlier. I appreciate your support. I'm choosing X. Urgency will claim, this can't wait. Use your standard delay. I'll review tomorrow. Triangulation invites allies into the drama. Don't recruit your own. Keep it level. I'm reducing commitments this quarter. That line is your Swiss Army knife. True, non-inflammatory, and reusable. For workplace exits, run a compliance mini-plan. Notify your manager first, then HR if applicable. Reference policy, not personality. Per section 4.2, I'm ending the mentorship effective date. Transfer knowledge. 1-pages, links, SOPs. People who exit clean leave fewer hooks for re-entry. If you expect blowback, schedule your notice when you can step away for 24 hours after sending. Silence lets dust settle without you patching feelings. In spiritual or community settings, keep it governance-based. Ask for the process document if it exists. Grievance procedures, membership changes, refund terms. If there's no governance, create your own boundary record. I'm ending participation effective date. Please remove me from groups and lists. If they push for a closing ritual or public testimony, decline politely. Not for me. Then block event invites if necessary. You are no performance. In personal relationships, extraction looks like reformatting contact. Choose the channel and cadence you can maintain. Text only for logistics. I won't respond to late-night messages. If cohabiting, plan a phased move. Finances disentangled, belongings inventoried, a move-out date on paper. Consider a witness or friend present for any high-stakes handoff. Keep valuables and sensitive documents secured before you announce any big shift. Safety first, then boundaries. Keep records. Save emails, texts, meeting notes, and screenshots of commitments, threats, or policy violations. Use consistent file names with dates. If retaliation crosses lines, defamation, doxing, threats, document and escalate to the appropriate channel. HR, platform reporting, legal counsel, or law enforcement. Don't warn. Don't give one last chance. Retaliation is a threshold, not a teachable moment. Now, let's operationalize your scripts. Pre-write 3 templates you'll paste as needed. Frequency reduction. I'm consolidating to 1 check-in per week, effective Monday. Scope reduction. I'm handling X and Y independently. Let's keep our reviews to Z only. Termination. I'm concluding our work on date. Please confirm deliverables, outstanding balances, and access removal. Layer in your universal reply. I'm reducing commitments this quarter. If someone presses for reasons, repeat it. Repetition signals resolve. If money's involved, close the loop quickly. Ask for final invoices in writing, confirm what you'll pay, and where you won't. I'll pay the agreed amount through. Date. I won't be purchasing additional sessions. Decline discounts, extensions, or last chance bundles. Scarcity is bait. You're not negotiating your exit, you're enacting it. Finally, rehearse. Say your lines out loud 3 times. Your body needs to hear your voice hold the boundary before the moment hits. Pair each script with a breath and a 10-second pause. You're teaching your nervous system that boredom is safety. Clean exits are quiet. You're not proving you're good. You're moving on. Action Protocols Part 3. Post-exit autonomy reset. The exit isn't the finish line. It's the start of recalibration. You've removed the external control. Now you replace the vacuum with structures that make self-leadership feel normal again. Think detox, reps, recalibration, repair, pattern inventory, and a 30-day plan you own. First, detox their language. For 7 days, ban jargon that collapses your decisions into metaphysics. Swap alignment for fit with my time and money. Swap ego for disagreement. Swap frequency drop for I'm tired. Keep a small card in your notes. Situation, neutral words test. I feel off becomes, I slept 5 hours, I'll nap and reassess. When words are plain, choices get simple. You'll notice your nervous system settle because there's nothing to decode. Next, build autonomy reps, small, daily self-led choices that rebuild trust with yourself. Choose 3 categories you previously outsourced: calendar, money under a set amount, and creative direction. Every day, make 1 decision in each category without consulting anyone. Log only 2 things: decision made and result. Celebrate the act of choosing, not whether it was perfect. The metric is reps, not perfection. After a week, increase the weight. Slightly bigger choices or tighter timelines. Your training: I choose, I handle outcomes, I adapt. That loop is your new baseline. Recalibrate your support map. Replace a single point of authority with a network that can't capture you. Aim for multiple perspectives with clear roles. 2 mentors with different incentives. 2 peers you trade notes with. A therapist if trauma got activated. And your own written plan. No one gets total access, and no one gets to define your identity. Set cadence rules. Mentors monthly, peers bi-weekly, therapist weekly if needed. Your plan reviewed every Sunday. You're engineering redundancy, so you never need to collapse into one voice again. Repair your system, body first. Control loops jack up your stress response. For the next 14 days, schedule nervous system resets like appointments. 20 minutes outdoors, a 10-minute breath set, a slow walk after meals. Add 1 hobby with no metrics: music, sketching, cooking, pure play. You're telling your body that safety doesn't depend on someone else's approval. In community, Spend time with people who knew you before the helper entered the picture. Familiar mirrors recalibrate identity fast. Now, run a pattern inventory. Ask 5 questions on paper. What need made the trap attractive? Certainty, belonging, speed, status rescue. What timing made me say yes? Launch stress, grief, isolation. A win I wanted to protect. What specific tells did I ignore? Urgency, exclusivity, purity tests, moving targets. What was the exchange rate? What I gave versus what I actually got. What boundary did I fear would cost me love, opportunity, or reputation? Answer without blame. You're extracting the recipe, so you can spot it again in 5 minutes, not 5 months. Then, build 2 pre-commit rules that address your top vulnerability. Example: no commitments without a written scope and exit clause. No single advisor, always a second mirror. Paste them at the top of your Notes app. Here's your 30-day self-source plan. No asks, only decisions. Week 1, detox language, daily autonomy reps, and the nervous system triad, sleep, walk, sunlight. Week 2, add the support map. Schedule your mentor and peer cadences, and write your monthly plan in 1 page. Goals, constraints, and 3 inputs per goal. Week 3, expand decision weight. Choose 1 medium-stakes project and run it end-to-end with your criteria. Week 4, stress test independence. Introduce 1 external challenge, travel, public share, deadline, and keep your cadence unchanged. Every Sunday, run a 5-minute audit. Did I choose daily? Did I keep cadence? Did any urgency try to hijack me? Common mistakes to avoid. Filling the vacuum with a better guru, turning healing into a performance sprint, or trying to explain your exit to anyone who's invested in misunderstanding it. Also skip the identity whiplash. No need to become anti-help. You're pro-structure, pro-agency, pro-many voices. Help that expands you stays. Help that shrinks you goes. Quick wins you can do today. Delete group chats you no longer need. Unsubscribe from feeds that spike urgency. Set a do not disturb window nightly. Move recurring payments to manual approval. And write a 1-sentence identity anchor. I make clear, testable decisions and adjust with data. Say it out loud every morning. If you feel wobbly, that's normal. Wobble isn't a sign you chose wrong. It's your nervous system recalibrating from variable reinforcement to steady self-leadership. Keep reps small, language plain, and cadence consistent. Autonomy returns fastest when it's boring. Early detection. Red flags before you commit. Let's inoculate you before the trap even starts. Think of this as pre-flight checks. Fast, boring, and preventative. You're not trying to judge character. You're testing structure and incentives, so you don't donate your autonomy by accident. Front-load tests. Before you sign, ask for a trial period, a written scope, and a clean exit clause. Trial period means a defined time window, 2 to 4 weeks, with clear goals and what continue/stop looks like. Written scope names what's in, what's out, who decides what, and response times. Exit clause states exactly how you end, how refunds or final invoices work, and whether there's a non-disparagement or gag clause. Healthy people love this. It reduces misunderstandings. Controllers push for vibes, trust, and will figure it out because ambiguity is their leverage. Run an incentive check. Ask yourself, do they benefit more when I'm independent or when I'm dependent? If their model rewards ongoing oversight, retainer tied to hours, prestige tied to proximity, spiritual status tied to obedience, assume pressure will tilt toward dependence. That doesn't make it evil, but you need counterweights. Tapered plans, fixed-fee projects, and ownership transfer built in. Propose a taper from day 1. Month 1, high contact. Month 2, reduced. Month 3, handoff. Watch their face. Enthusiasm is a green flag. Hesitation tells you the quiet plan was continuity, not graduation. Scan the language. Early urgency, exclusivity, purity metrics, and obedience as growth are all yellow lights. Urgency sounds like spots are vanishing, window is closing, or this energy won't come back. Exclusivity. Only share inside the container, outsiders won't get it. Purity metrics. Stay high vibe, be fully aligned, don't contaminate the work. Obedience as growth. Surrender proves you're ready. Commitment equals yes. One of these might be fine. A cluster is a system. Do a boundary ping before committing. Offer 1 polite no, or not now on something small. I won't join the group chat. I'll decide next week. I'm skipping the upsell. Then watch. Do they accept, or do they interpret it as a diagnosis? Acceptance sounds like, cool. Diagnosis sounds like, that's fear. You're blocking your evolution. Leadership expects proactive buy-in. If a small no triggers a big story, your larger no will be expensive. Diversify inputs from the start. Keep 2 alternative advisors or channels active. Tell them up front, I cross-check with a second mentor, or I'll run a peer review on key steps. Healthy partners collaborate. Controllers frame comparison as betrayal. Early jealousy is predictive. Now the quick win. Use a pre-commit checklist. 5 questions, yes or no. Is there a written scope with what's in, what's out, and a decision map? Is there a taper plan with reduced contact over time? Can I exit cleanly in writing without shaming or penalty beyond policy? Did a small boundary get respected without moralizing? Do their incentives align with my independence? If you can't get 3 yes, pause. If you can't get 4, don't commit. This isn't cynicism, it's maintenance. Operationalize your test call. On the discovery call, ask 3 specifics. How do clients graduate from your support? Look for a concrete sequence, not poetry. What decisions remain mine from day one? Listen for authority you retain, not patronizing permissions. When would you advise I don't work with you? Mature helpers have disqualifiers. Controllers court everyone and pathologize hesitation. Price structure is data. Fixed fee with defined deliverables and a handoff favors independence. Hourly or open scope retainer favors dependence unless you bolt on caps and reviews. In spiritual or community contexts, watch for bundling. Commitment escalates through packages that promise access rather than skills. If access is the product, dependence is the goal. Test responsiveness boundaries. Send a message after hours with no reply needed tonight. If they reply anyway and praise responsiveness, you're being trained for availability theater. Healthy systems model boundaries. Controllers reward overexposure. Add a mini dry run. Request 1 sample deliverable or a micro-session focused on a single outcome. Evaluate how they handle feedback, definitions, and measurement. Do they welcome specificity, or do they redirect to trust? Do they accept your cadence, or do they rush you into a larger commitment? Finally, set your own pre-commit rule. No signing under urgency, no payment within 24 hours of a pitch, no exclusivity without governance, and no engagement without a written exit. Say it out loud before calls. You're building a habit of consent, not compliance. If you feel pulled toward the big yes, take 1 small yes that preserves autonomy. Trial, scope, taper, exit. If they balk at those, they're not a partner, they're a program. Your best next move is simple. Keep your options open, keep your tests boring, and let people reveal themselves before you hand them your steering wheel. But sometimes, the dynamic crosses from difficult to dangerous, requiring a response that is not just procedural, but protective. Safety, ethics, and escalation thresholds. Before we close, we need a sober lane, safety, ethics, and when to escalate. Not every hard dynamic is abuse. The difference is pattern, harm, and retaliation. A tough boss who holds clear standards and respects no's is difficult, not dangerous. A system that shifts criteria, punishes boundaries, and recruits others to pressure you is crossing lines. Start with thresholds. Escalate when 3 things show up: retaliation for a boundary, safety concerns, or contractual violations. Retaliation looks like smears, pressure campaigns, or access threats after you say no. Safety concerns include stalking, threats, doxing, unsafe in-person encounters, or sabotaging your work. Contract violations are simple: ignoring notice periods, withholding deliverables, surprise fees, or misuse of your data. When any threshold is hit, switch from coaching scripts to documentation and formal channels. Document everything: dates, times, exact quotes, screenshots, links, and who else was present. Keep originals. Save to a cloud folder you control. Write neutral summaries. On date, I said X. Response, Y. Impact, Z. You're building a factual spine for any process you choose. At work, use policy first. Pull the handbook for harassment, retaliation, and grievance procedures. Report through the designated path, manager, HR, ethics hotline, using your timeline and attachments. Anchor to policy language. Per Section 5.3, this is retaliation after a protected activity. Don't argue character. Ask for a documented investigation, a response date, and confidentiality where applicable. If the issue involves protected classes or legal risk, consult counsel. Many employers offer anonymous advice lines. Use them. In professional independent arrangements, read the contract aloud. If they breach, send a concise notice referencing the exact clause and remedy. Per 4.2, I'm terminating with 14 days notice. Please transfer files by date. If payment is withheld, issue a final invoice and a demand letter template. Decide in advance what dollar amount is worth legal escalation. Small claims courts and platform dispute processes can be effective without a lawyer. In spiritual or community groups, request governance. Ask for bylaws, codes of conduct, grievance procedures, and who adjudicates. If none exist, that's data. There's no container for accountability. If there is a process, use it by the book. Submit a written complaint with specific behaviors and dates. Propose resolution steps, and ask for written outcomes. If leaders collapse criticism into negative energy, disengage and informally alert trusted members with neutral statements. I've exited due to governance concerns. Happy to share my documentation privately. In personal relationships, safety outranks etiquette. If you anticipate escalation, tell 2 trusted people your plan, set a check-in schedule, and arrange a place to stay if needed. Secure finances, IDs, and devices. Change passwords and enable 2-factor authentication. If threats appear, do not negotiate. Save evidence and contact local resources, domestic violence hotlines, legal aid, or law enforcement, based on your jurisdiction. Consider a trauma-informed therapist to process and plan. For online harassment, screenshot and archive, then use platform reporting tools. Document patterns across accounts. Report the network, not just single posts. If defamation affects work, consult counsel about a narrow, factual cease and desist. Don't feed trolls with rebuttals. Reply with a single line if necessary. This is false. Please direct any concerns to me in writing. Then go quiet and keep reporting. A quick litmus test. Are you safer, clearer, and more capable after using their process? If the answer is no, step out of their system and use formal ones. You're not being dramatic, you're being procedural. Ethics protect everyone, including you. Here's the takeaway. Real help tapers, tolerates your no, and strengthens your independent calibration. The rest is control wearing care's clothes. Keep the benefit, drop the leash. Run the silent week and the data ledger. Then take one rung on the boundary ladder. Log your stress before and after. If you want the advanced scripts and live breakdowns of manipulative certainty, subscribe and watch the follow-up linked next. Your agency grows with boring reps. Start tonight.